My name is Ruth James. I was born in 1939, and I'm 72 years old now. I'm one of 8 children. I was kind of in the middle, and I have a twin sister. Not pleasant. They were abusive sometimes. You know, both my mom and my dad. If we were arguing, if two siblings were arguing, he'd grab us by the hair and knock our heads together and say, "Want to fight?" and knock our heads together, like that. So that wasn't good. It was awful. He was an alcoholic, and anytime a family was coming in to make arrangements, because we lived above our funeral home, I was always the one she made go with to get him out of the tavern, because if he was going to hit anybody, he'd hit me. I was not her favorite child, obviously, you know. Yeah. I was told to go to bed. I was either 3 or 4, 3.5 or something, and I was told to go take my nap, and he had a linoleum knife sticking out of his pocket, which is a curved blade, and so I went by him, and it slipped my leg open, and I'm like, "Daddy, Daddy, my leg's bleeding." And he said, "Go down and tell your mother." I had to go 2 stories down to the basement. And I told my mother, "Mommy, Mommy, my leg's bleeding." She says, "Go up and tell your father." And I went all the way up, back up. And I said, "Dad, she told me to come to you." And he turned me around. He picked me up, put me in the clothes hamper, wiped it down, squeezed it together, threw a piece of tape over it, and said, "Now go take your nap." That was it. Weird. Unbelievable. It was just not a pleasant childhood when I was growing up at all. You know, it's awful. And he always called me the dumb blonde, my dad. Isn't that terrible? Yeah. So, I don't know. And when I probably told you this, but when I was in the convent, visiting was only, I think it was like one Sunday a month. They were the last ones to come and the first ones to leave. They stayed like 15 minutes. And visitation at the convent was like 2 or 3 hours. Isn't that something? It was sad. I don't know. Unbelievable. I went to a doctor once. He told me he'd never seen anybody live through what I went through. The beatings and stuff. Yeah. I have short-term memory loss because of the beatings I had with my father. And I have scars. They've x-rayed my skull. I have scars on my head, my brain, you know, on the head, up there in the head. And very awful. I mean, if we were arguing, if one of my brothers or sisters was arguing with me, he'd grab us by the hair and say, "You want to fight?" Bang, and he'd knock our heads together. Stuff like that. I mean, it was terrible, you know. That scar on my leg, when I walked by, he had a linoleum knife out. I cut my leg. I said, "Daddy, Daddy, my leg's bleeding." I was like 3 years old. "Hey, it's bleeding." He said, "Go down and tell your mother." I'd go all the way to the basement, 2 stories down to the basement. I said, "Mommy, Mommy, my leg's bleeding." She said, "Go up and tell your father." I went back up, told my father. He grabbed me, put me on the clothes hamper, wiped it off, squeezed it, threw tape on it, put me down, said, "Now go take your nap." I have no idea, but I think it's hard to say because I was a rarity. You know, you don't know, really. Everybody acts differently to things, you know. But the doctor, when I went to him, he said, "You are a rarity." He said, "Most children who have been abused become abusers." That's what the doctor said. The psychiatrist I was going to at the time. So, I don't know. I was good to my kids, you know. I chose my children. They weren't accidents. I wanted the children, you know. So, and now I've got 25 grandkids. It's amazing. Yeah. I couldn't believe what we went through there. 8 months up at Mayo Clinic, watching him die. It's terrible. I always prayed when I got married, I always prayed that God would take me first. But he didn't. So here I am, Still sitting here. You know. I don't know. I mean, living with Aileen, you know, I'm living here. And Dottie has me over for dinner a lot. She picks me up and takes me to dinner for her, you know, with her. Stuff like that, you know. My kids are very nice to me. Oh my God, yes. I couldn't thank them enough for what they do for me. Holy moly. Yeah. And I'm very proud of my children. All of them.